What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another look at recent sales prices for Star Wars, the Vintage Collection. We've got ungraded and graded, unpunched early examples that went for big money. Some of these graded, uncirculated early TVC 1.0, the prices are just mind-blowing. We've got an autographed item, just a really nice assortment, and it's a lot. I have a lot to go through this time, so without further ado, let's dig in. The first one is a VC09 Boba Fett Foil Ultimate Galactic Hunt. It looked to be in pretty great shape. I don't know what's going on with Boba Fett's head there. He looks like he's kind of like looking up at the stars, wondering what is going on with his life. Is this really what I chose to do with my life? It looks like the head is kind of popping off or something like that. But card back was in great shape. Beautiful foil card. That's one I'd like to get, but alas, money is a little tight right now. Saving for Hakes is killing me. There's so much awesome stuff on eBay. But this is a beautiful US foil card back, $99.95 plus $8 shipping. I thought that price was pretty great. Next up was the Revenge of the Jedi Boba Fett. This was the retail release with the paperwork inside for the prototype mail-away Boba Fett offer that is on the card back. So this is not the SDCC release. This is the one that was released at retail, but a beautiful unpunched VC09 Revenge of the Jedi card. This sold at auction. I thought this price was fantastic as well. $127.61 plus $5.25 shipping. That's probably the lowest price I've seen recently for an unpunched Revenge retail release Boba Fett. That's a really good price there. Next up, this price, while it seems really high, wait until you see the next one. This is a VC13 Darth Vader name pill, Anakin Skywalker, Revenge of the Sith, US card back unpunched. Now, I showed one in my what to buy video, and I feel like I'm a genius when I said buy it when it's $250. The one I had in my what to buy video was a beautiful unpunched card for $250, and one of y'all bought it. And to me, it seemed like a great price at the time. And it's looking more and more that I was right on that, because this one sold for $350, free shipping. Power Droid, we got some more sales from this seller here in a little while. I've bought from this seller, been very happy. But $350 took that home. Now, as high as that seems, this one sold at auction. This is an unpunched, same exact card back, VC13 unpunched. This sold at auction for $510 plus $10.65 shipping. That is the highest I've seen for a VC13 unpunched Darth Vader name pill. I just could not believe the final sales price on that one, but that's what somebody was willing to pay. So that's going to be the theme for when I have multiple listings for the same item, that you'll see the price range is just so dramatic right now for a lot of these items. And I don't know why that is, but that seems to be the case for a number of the duplicates that I'm showing in this video. Same character, same card back. So this one sold again for $350. I showed another one in my what to buy video a couple weeks back that sold for $250, and then this one sold for $510. So make that for what you will. Just the prices are all over the map for the unpunched Darth Vader name pill Anakin Skywalker. Here was an uncirculated 9.25 VC25 R2-D2. Now, it was listed for $375. And the best offer that was accepted was $250. $250. That's a really great price. We just documented one that was another uncirculated. I think it was a 9.0. It wasn't a 9.25. But that was sold by Power Droid a couple weeks back. That one sold for $295. And this one was a little bit higher grade, and that one sold in a best offer accepted for $250. So they came off quite a bit off that sales, off the list price on that one. $375 all the way down to $250, free shipping. So whoever got this one got a really good deal, I feel like, relative to the uncirculated 9.0 that sold for $295 a few weeks back. But that's the theme, is that a lot of these uncirculated early TVC figures, there's some collectors that are willing to pay massive premiums for them, and I've got some other examples here in a little bit. Here was a Sam Wessel VC30. This was unpunched. The same seller that had that Darth Vader name pill that sold for $510 sold this one. Beautiful VC30, looked to be in great shape. That one sold for $91 plus $10.65 shipping, so I thought that was a pretty good price relative to some of the others I've seen. I've seen as high as $125 recently, so I thought that was a pretty great buy. Next up was a Padme Amidala. This was the same seller, unpunched US card back, again in really great shape. This one sold for $57 plus $10.65 shipping, so that seller did have some good deals, and you know, we've talked about that on the channel, where if you find one item that a seller has that is very high demand and you know it's going to go for a lot of money, check out the other listings, because sometimes you can get some pretty great deals like the Sam Wessel and this one that sold for $57. I thought both of those were good buys. Likewise was this VC34 Jango Fett. This one sold for $142.50. That's right in line with market and looked to be in great shape. Now again, going back to what I just talked about, I have another one. This one sold for $155, so slightly higher. Maybe after accounting for shipping, this one sold for $153 or so. This one sold for $155, so about the same price. I would argue that something's going on with the punch tab on this one. It looks like it's pulling away from the card back at a minimum. So just keep that in mind. You got to really check the photos for some of these, because this punch does look like it's pulling away just a little bit versus this one where it looks to be a much cleaner unpunched card. But the same price for about this, for both of them, $153 and $155. That gives you a new price target to aim for if you're looking for that Jango Fett with the prototype Boba Fett mail-away offer. And again, I got two different Luke Skywalker Dagobah landings that sold. This one sold for $220, and I didn't pull up the other one. I didn't include it in this batch, but I did find another one that sold almost the exact same day for $145. That was also the U.S. card unpunched. Now, I would argue that this one was in better condition, and it had much better photos. It looked to be super, super clean, and this one also had the clear saber, which I personally find harder to find, but it seems like more and more it's showing up pretty regularly. Darth Wizzy, who is a Patreon supporter, he says, that's all I ever see is the lighter blue saber when I'm looking, and he's up in Canada. Well, maybe I just haven't been looking enough, because it does seem like the lighter blue saber Luke Skywalker Dagobah landing VC44, it's becoming more numerous, but this one did sell for $220, but I found another one that was a light blue saber that sold almost the exact same time for $145. But again, this one was in better shape, but that's a pretty significant price difference. Next up, going back to what I talked about, uncirculated TVC 1.0. This is Phie Search, and this price was just mind-blowing. $500 was the offer that was, or the price that it sold for. It wasn't a best offer accepted. That was the list price, and that's what it sold for. Uncirculated 9.0, unpunched U.S. card back, but wow, $500 is a big number. Now, this is the same seller that had that uncirculated 9.0 VC44 that sold for something like $700. So there is a collector or multiple collectors out there that are just buying up these early TVC 1.0 in uncirculated AFA grades. But that's a big number relative to what this goes for ungraded. Next up was an AFA 85 VC54 ARC Trooper Commander. This sold over on the other side of the pond, and it sold for 142 pounds, which is 168 US dollars. It did have the 3-tier grading, and it did have the label down below there, which I prefer. 85, 85, 90 were the sub-scores on that one. Now, it was only an 85, but still, it's an unpunched, beautiful card back. And we've documented here recently where these have gone for $140 to $155 ungraded. And this one, you got it for $168 plus shipping, already graded with the 3-tier grading. So I think that's a pretty good buy there. Next up, again, I've got a multiple VC64 Princess Leia slave outfits, and the price disparity is pretty jaw-dropping. Now, this one did have some light wear, so I will caveat that. It did have some light wear, and if you look at the back of the punch on this one, it looks like it's almost, it's either been pushed back in or it's starting to come out, one of the two, and it did have some light edge wear. So keep all of that in mind when you look at the next one, but this one was not perfect. So let's say it's an 80 plus, maybe a low 85 for the retail release VC64 Return of the Jedi Princess Leia slave outfit. $212.50 plus $525 shipping. Now, this one was admittedly in much better shape, but you're almost double the sales price. This one was the exact same card, exact same release, Return of the Jedi retail release with the prototype Fett offer sticker. That one sold in an auction as well for $395 free shipping. So condition is everything, apparently, because it went from $212.50 plus $525 shipping to almost double that at $395 for one that was admittedly in much better condition. But I'm just blown away. I'm just blown away by the price differences on some of these. Panda Baba, this is another one we've talked about recently. This was a really good price in my mind. It looked like it had one little issue at the top of the card looks like it's a very soft bend right above the hang tab there. So again, you got to zoom in on the photos, but I think that the price was appropriately discounted for this one. It sold for $105, one bid, free shipping. And I've seen as high as about $150 for this. So, you got about 30% off to account for that soft bend. But again, if you're looking for pristine cards, you really got to zoom in on those photos and check them out, because it does look like the lighting's catching a very soft bend right there on the right-hand side above the hang tab. Next up, I've got yet another uncirculated early TVC. This is Anakin Skywalker, The Clone Wars, uncirculated 9.0. That sold for $250 plus $19 shipping. Now, for a time there, before they reissued this Anakin, this was about what they were going for ungraded. But clearly prices have come back down, but that's still a pretty significant sales price given that there is a reissue out there. So $250 plus $20 shipping for that uncirculated 9.0 with the Darth Maul offer on the front, uncirculated AFA graded. I got a couple of different Grand Moff Tarkins. This one sold for $112.50. Now this is the European release, which the market seems to discount these. They tend to go for a little bit less. VC98, you can see very clearly it's got all the warning labels and multi-language stickers on the back, as well as the two stickers on the front, on the top left and top right. But it looked to be in really great shape overall. Never mind, I didn't see this photo yet. This one has a soft bend, so that accounts for the price difference, in addition to it being the European release. But for me, over here in the US, I love the European releases just because they don't come up for sale regularly over here. I've got to buy them over on eBay UK and then pay global shipping or a significant shipping cost, and it almost precludes me from doing that. Now, this one did have that soft bend. I didn't see that when I pulled this one up, but $112.50 plus $10 shipping. And then this one is the US card without the warning labels on the back. That one sold over in the UK as well for 139 pounds or 165 US dollars. So again, a couple of releases. Now this one also had the paperwork inside for the Darth Maul offer, but it's missing the sticker on the front. So, either it was pulled off, but it doesn't look like any litho damage. But I've heard from several of you that said, hey, it's really easy to pull it off if you use lighter fluid or, maybe a hair dryer. I don't know, but I don't see any litho damage, but it does have the paperwork inside. And some of them admittedly did leave the factory without the sticker on the front. It had the paperwork inside the blister, but it was missing the sticker. But this was a nicer example, and obviously the price reflected that. It was a little bit higher. This was another nice example of VC101, the original Shea Vizsla. That one had the Darth Maul offer, unpunched US card back. Lots of good photos there. It was admittedly kind of dark with the photos, but the card looked to be in pretty pristine condition. Blister was also in very pristine condition. That one sold for $200 free shipping. I'd pay that all day long personally. That's well down from the highs after the reissue was announced, but that's a beautiful card for $200 free shipping. Next up, now this one has been relisted, so I don't know if the buyer didn't pay or what, but it was sold at an auction. This is the VC102 original issue Ahsoka AFA 9.0, as you can see there. Now this one sold at an auction, but it was immediately relisted, so take that for what you will. Probably the buyer never paid, because this seller, Neat Stuff Collectibles, always has really nice stuff, and it seems like a very trustworthy seller. So I think it's just a case where the buyer didn't pay on this one. But anyway, it did sell for $516 plus $15 shipping, and then it was immediately relisted. So we'll see what that one sells for in the second auction. But that at least gives you a data point if you're looking for a nice high-grade Ahsoka original issue VC 102 unpunched US card back. $516 plus $15 shipping. And I don't think that's out of the realm of where they've been selling. I mean, I think I've seen as high as $730 for an AFA 9.0. So $516 seemed like a good deal. I feel like that buyer probably should have paid up for that one, because that was a pretty good buy. Next up, we've got a Neon Num VC 106. That one sold for $119 and change, free shipping. That's kind of right in line with market. You can see the back of the card there. Looked to be pretty clean overall. I didn't really see much. Maybe just a little bit of edge wear on the bottom right-hand side by the UPC code. So not perfect by any means, but, 120, these have been selling for 125-ish, so I think that's kind of in line. Next up, Oromarco. This seller had three of them. All three of them did sell for $125 plus $5 shipping. And again, that's right in line with market for where Prune Face is going right now. Beautiful card back, though. And then Darth Vader Emperor's Wrath. This is another one that's come back down in price quite a bit. I've got two of them that have sold here recently. This one sold for $167.50, and it did have some scratching. The seller was kind enough to show a very faint spider vein there on the back by the UPC code, but overall pretty good shape. Just some light edge wear here and there. This is probably like an 80+ condition. $167.50 versus this one that looked to be in much better shape, although the photos were not as good or as detailed as the other one. But again, an unpunched US card back for Darth Vader Emperor's Wrath. That one sold for $200 free shipping. But you got to remember that we've seen as high as like $275, even $300 for this one. So this one has come back down 30 to 40% in price, and that's a gorgeous figure. Next up, this is an interesting one. This is an uncirculated 9.0 Leia Organa Yavin ceremony, but this one has the VC-164 error on it. So, you know, originally this, I believe, was VC-155, but some of them made it out of the factory with VC-164. Don't quote me on those numbers, but the VC-164 is Cara Dune, which I've got also in a second, but this was an uncirculated 9.0 error card, and that one sold for $250 plus $19 shipping, and that's kind of in line with market, actually. For high-grade error cards of this, I saw a CAS 90 that's also sold for $250, so that's kind of right in line with market. Plus, you're getting the uncirculated designation for that one. That's a tough one to find uncirculated. So, uncirculated 9.0 VC-164 error, $270 after shipping. And then, speaking of VC-164, this is the correct VC-164 Cara Dune, graded CAS 90 plus, but this is signed by Gina Carano, and this one had the signature series label 90 plus. 90, 95, 95 were the subscores, and you can see it's got that yellow signature series label from CAS. I actually have my Bespin guard at CAS right now to get this signature series label. Boss Bounty was kind enough to send me a Bespin guard signed by Quentin Pierre, who was obviously the actor in The Empire Strikes Back that played the black Bespin security guard. So I look forward to getting mine back at some point in the next few months. But pretty awesome example there. Tough to get that one, especially already graded. It was listed for $400, and the best offer that was accepted was $350, which I think that's a really good deal, actually, because, you know, to get this signature series grading, you got to pay $60 to grade the item. You got to pay another $35 for the JSA signature authentication. So that's $95 plus shipping to and from CAS. Let's call that another 25 or 30 bucks there. So you've already got about 130 bucks into it. And then you think about what it would cost for you to take something to a toy convention and have it signed by Gina Carano. That's probably another 100 or 200 bucks plus the actual cost of the item. So to get it all already graded for 90 in a 90 plus grade for 350 bucks, yes, please. That's a good buy. I think that's a really, really good buy. And she's got a pretty awesome signature. Not as good as Ashley Eckstein's signature, but this is a pretty nice one, and it just presents really nicely. And I think that was a good buy, honestly. $350 for that. I would have paid that all day long. And then finally, I was shocked by this one. This is the mail-away rocket-firing Boba Fett VCPO3, graded 95 by CAS, and it was encapsulated with the mailer box. So this is a monster of a box here. I did this for the prototype Fett, but I don't have this rocket-firing Fett. And it was graded 95, uncirculated grade. 95, 90, 95 were the subscores. So that's about as card fresh or as factory fresh as you can get there. $599 took that home. $600 plus $14.50 shipping. So really, you're paying for the grade. You're paying for the custom encasement there. It probably costs $150 or $175 just for the grading costs plus shipping. So $600 plus $15 shipping took that one home. And I am at the end of the rope for all of the different listings I had. It was quite a bit of stuff that I wanted to go through in this batch, but pretty incredible prices overall. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.